Peace, what up? This is Doc Blake with Ethereal TV, bringing you the 129th episode of The Last Piece to the Puzzle. The motto for me is silver, gold, and cryptos equals freedom because they are decentralized assets and they're going to play an important part in the immediate, the short term, and the long term futures. And first, we're going to do some house clearing. Go to the Ethereal website if you're interested in getting any t-shirt work done. Silk screening, and now we are also getting a direct to garment connection, so we'll be able to do smaller orders, larger orders, and for people who just like screen ink. So go check out the Ethereal website. I'm talking about real ink screen printed on t-shirts. And let's check out the cover art. We have Roger Rabbit. I've been going on this Roger Rabbit theme because the Fed and Jerome Powell totally remind me of Judge Doom from Roger Rabbit. So I have the car, I have Jerome Powell's face, I have Roger Rabbit, I have that scene where he's driving the car and the car's like, let me take over, you know what I mean? And just kind of a funny picture of what's going on. But it says Fed loses control as a U.S. citizen, because most U.S. citizens have no idea what's going on. They're just along for the ride. And so hey, with that being said, let's get into the price action. Currently, we have Bitcoin at $19,367. Ethereum is at $1,311. Binance is at $271. Cardano is at 37 cents. Polkadot is at $6.12. I never talk about Solana. I mean, you're talking about like, it's basically like a Ford car, like found on the road dead blockchain. It should be called Ford B, for found on the road dead blockchain. But anyway, they're always breaking down. And let's look at Litecoin. Litecoin Summit is coming up, and that is at $51.29. So am I still, my pick of 2022 is Helium. As soon as I find it, it's at $4.40, getting wrecked this week, down 13.8%. Goodness gracious. And Data Network is at 99 cents. Wow. Some of these prices, man. So today we're basically going to focus on the real problem. The reason I've had Jerome Powell in like the last three of my videos, because everything has to do with him. The United States has the reserve currency as of this moment. I think a lot of countries are starting to try to pivot away from that because they know that our secret, it's not magical. It's just printed out of thin air, and we do it as much as we want, when we want, how we want, and we print as much of it as we want, and we use it to buy other countries' resources. Most of the time we give them weapons in return, such as Saudi Arabia. And, that's what's going on with the whole OPEC. OPEC is wanting to trade their oil in something other than United States currency, which was like part of some deal or something crazy because, we weaponize our currency. So, with all that being said, let's check out precious metals. I'm going into the article and all that. Precious metals getting demolished once again. Gold is at $1,654 and silver is at $18.49. Manipulated, that's all I can say. This is the United States hard at work. The United States is the culprit behind like damn near every evil thing in the world. In my opinion, they make some of these terrorist countries look like saints. That's how bad our leadership is. Maybe not always, but recently in these last 30, 40 years of our government, we've just been out to pillage, rape the rest of the world, lie to them, scheme on them, plot, and everybody's starting to catch on, which kind of makes me happy, even though I'm an American citizen. But we all know it's true. Our leaders are nothing. They're liars, they're cheaters, they're stealers, and they use the government and the military. They use the military to carry out their will. And you got to think, it only takes a few corrupt people in the military to have the troops, because the troops are always on a need to know basis. My father was in the military, my cousins, a lot of my family members were in the military, so they've told me they're strictly on a need to know basis. They don't even know what they're doing half the time. So if you have a couple of the military's leaders, basically going along with whatever, then it's not hard to control the rest of the troops and have them carry out the will of the few, which they've been doing for a long time and been very good at it. So, and America's playbook is to use this fake currency to take the rest of the world's resources. But how long will it go? How long could it go on? And people think like, oh, United States will drop nuclear bombs before they become before they're not the world reserve currency. I don't necessarily agree with that. The gig is up. The jig is up. I mean, you can't be really mad for people wanting to trade real assets for real assets instead of fake assets for real assets. So I think they kind of just need to let that go. Let that whole reserve currency. Biden's like, we're going to do this to Saudi Arabia, blah, blah, blah. Like, come on, man. Like, there's no realness in these markets. We've manipulated for so long. Look at the price of precious metals. Look at the price of silver, for example, which it makes no sense. It makes no sense with the amount of dollars that have been printed. Like, can we come back to reality a little bit? But these people are psychopaths. They're narcissists. They pick the right people to be in office so that they can, carry out specific things that they want people to carry out. You know what I mean? Like, these people are like maniacs. They're tyrants in everything that they do, and they love these type of people because, the leaders are like that. So they need politicians that are the same way. Just all self-absorbed, and I'm not caring about anybody else besides them and their few family, even if they have any family. So it's all really interesting if you ask me. But I keep up with it. And let's take a look at this article. The Fed's next crisis is brewing in the United States. This is from the Washington Post. This was actually written today. So it's a very up to date. It's the Washington Post, and they're talking about exactly what I've been already hinting at through this whole thing about, and back to our cover art, the Fed loses control. All right. So this is by Robert Burgess. Markets have been whipsawed in recent weeks, first by the talk of a cooling labor market would allow the Federal Reserve to pivot away from its aggressive interest rate hiking campaign, and then by comments from central bankers that any such move would be premature. As Thursday's hot consumer price index reports proved, the consumer price index came a little bit higher, and they're expecting it to be lower because they've been raising interest rates, right? So perhaps there's a solution that would allow the Fed to continue to battle inflation while also addressing what rapidly is becoming a potential crisis with the world's most important market, the U.S. Treasuries. There is no solution besides using a backed currency use a backed currency backed by gold, backed by silver to buy real goods and assets. I don't think there's any way around that because money is not some magical thing that you can actually feed people with, just like Putin said. You can't heat your homes and put food in people's mouths with dollar bills. It's not edible, right? You'll probably die and catch a disease from how many strippers' butt cheeks it's been in. Feel me? The world's crisis is not hyperbole. Liquidity is quickly evaporating. Volatility is soaring. Once unthinkable, even demand at the government's debt auction is becoming a concern, meaning nobody wants to buy the U.S.'s debt. Conditions are so worrisome that Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen took to the unusual step Wednesday of expressing concern about a potential breakdown in trading, saying after a speech in Washington that her department is worried about a loss of adequate liquidity in the $23.7 trillion market for U.S. government securities. Make no mistake, if the Treasury market seizes up, the global economy and financial system will have much bigger problems than elevated inflation. So basically, there you have it. basically saying they want to continue quantitative easing instead of quantitative tightening because liquidity is drying up in the most important market in the world, they said, the U.S. Treasuries market, and what that will cause is a catastrophe on a level that people really can't understand, but it really doesn't have to be that way. This whole money thing, especially with fiat currency, has become a fantasy world anyway. So, if we let it go, let the system kind of collapse and get back to a real world scenario where people are producing goods, producing food, producing products, providing services. I mean, that's what it's really all about. That's what the exchange of energy, the exchange of currency is actually all about. It's as simple as that. It's just about providing services and goods for things that people are willing to trade them for, such as food, such as gold and silver. These all have use cases, but when you allow something to be printed in mass quantities, every country has their own fiat currency, right? This is the problem, and then the U.S. is the one that's backing them all, and we've been using this to buy goods and services from other countries for far too long, and it's not backed by anything. Since the 70s? I hear even earlier than that. At one point, they were actually using a fractional reserve system for gold. So meaning they were lending out more money than the gold that they had. This is what started it all. Actually, when they took us off the gold standard and started confiscating gold, was the fact that they did not have enough gold. They defaulted. So it's crazy how long they've been able to kind of ride this out, but it's because of the power of technology, in my opinion. The U.S. uses that to their total advantage of being able to broadcast a certain image out into the world, but actually we're an insolvent country. And a lot of countries are figuring this out. It's being known kind of worldwide. Why would you trade your precious goods and assets for something that has no value? It doesn't even make sense. But this is where we're at today. This article is from the Washington Post, and let's take a look at the 10-year yield. It's funny. This thing was just over 4.03%. All of a sudden, it came down, and a gentleman's channel who really, I've been watching this channel for probably about 2 years. I've always been into crypto. I mean, before this channel, but this is a broad spectrum of everything that's going on. His name is Gregory Manarino, and he's on YouTube, and he brought a lot of light for me towards the debt market and how it works and basically controls all other markets, which is pretty insane if you think about it. But it's true. Look, the Washington Post, the bond market, the treasury market has $23.7 trillion in it. I mean, that's like crypto's total market cap is not even $1 trillion. So, it kind of opened my eyes to what's really going on in the world. So go check his channel out. And he's been talking about this for a while, and it's crazy to see it actually playing out. A lot of things that he said, a lot of things that he spoke about. He calls will the plunge protection team jump in and save the day once again? Well, today it looks like they're going to. We got all the way up to 4.03, and just like that, we're like people talk about Bitcoin being volatile. Oh my gosh, the stocks, the bond markets, it's crazy right now, man. Like, everything is volatile. Let you know the end is near. This is why I've been saying. And funny thing, Gregory Manarino says it too, but I've been saying it before I ever watched this channel, which is gold, silver, and cryptos. Have them in your possession. Have real assets. Have cash as much as you can as well. But don't forget the principal thing, that cash and USD is always being printed and created at non-stop levels constantly. So that sums it up for me. Let's take a look at the cover art again. This is where we're at, y'all. This is whose financial hands we're in. We're in the hands of these people financially. So this is your boy Doc Blake with Ethereal TV. I'll see y'all next time.